Right. Well, good morning. Today is the 5th day of December. Time is 9 o'clock. The Board of Commissioners is in session to conduct its weekly open business meeting. All three commissioners are present. If we could give you, for the record,
Zach Burke, Development Services.
Richard Beck, Development Services.
Scott Colbert, Parks and Waterways. Josh Brown, Operations.
Jennifer Holly, Clerk's Office.
Terry Durden, Chief Legal Advisor, Ada County Sheriff.
Steve Rutherford, Commissioner's Office.
Elizabeth Duncan, Communications.
IT guy.
Beth Mon, Treasurer.
Okay, thank you. Madam Clerk, are there any changes to the agenda?
No, there are not.
Okay, our first item on the agenda is a resolution.
I just wanted to do the ones on the line too.
Oh, yeah, we have a couple on the line. We have our clerk on the line. Oh, good morning. We have Stephanie Johnson and Tom Ott. Okay. Who's voting? I see a big vote behind you there, Mr. Clerk.
No one's voting at this location, but we got plenty of people voting out in Eagle.
Well, good. Well, good. Well, welcome to our meeting. Anyway, we'll start with our new business, a resolution. I'll open the public hearing on Resolution 2943, an ARPA resolution for the use of grant obligations and allowances related to the American Rescue Plan Act. It also includes the agreement number 151351-23, the notice to proceed to Viola, phase 1, 2, and 4. Do we have any discussion on this, on the resolution? You want to tell us anything about it?
Well, I think you're aware of the history and,
Yep.
appreciate you.
Mr. Chairman?
Yeah.
Just a couple of, 2 or 3 comments about it. One is, it's a one-time, this is for the wells that have gone dry in the South Ada County, and it's in my part of the county.
Right.
Just to make sure people understand, this is a one-time thing, it's ARPA money, so it's not, we're doing it to address an emergency. We've also done, as Zach just mentioned, a well study down in that area, so that we have some data that we're collecting, and we're also doing a aquifer recharge study down there, so all things that are trying to address the issue down there, but this is a one-time thing for the Viola project.
Yes.
Just wanted to make sure people understood that.
Well, we need to make sure that this does not obligate the county to any other Veolia work. But this is a sort of an emergency situation, and so we had this extra ARPA money, so we decided we'd do that. Any other comments?
No, I'll just concur with that, but we're happy to help the neighbors whose wells are going dry. But yes, this is definitely an emergency measure, and we're not using local tax dollars, so people should understand that this is a result of the one-time money that the federal government gave us for COVID mitigation efforts, which this falls under the broad category that the Treasury came up with.
Exactly. Any other discussion? Hearing none, I'll close the public hearing on resolution number 2943 and ask for a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve resolution number 2943 and agreement number 15135123 as listed on the agenda, and authorize the chair to sign the documents on behalf of the board.
I'll second that.
Okay, you've heard the motion. All in favor, say aye. Aye?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, moving on, we have licenses. There's one catering permit that we've already signed, but we need to ratify it, and there's three catering permits. Any discussion or issues on the licensing, two new licenses and catering permits? Hearing none, I'll accept a motion.
I'll move to approve and ratify the catering permit previously signed by Commissioner Beck on November 28th, 2023, as identified on the agenda. Approve the remaining licenses as listed on the agenda, including 3 catering permits and 2 new licenses, and authorize the chair to sign the documents on behalf of the board.
I second the motion.
Okay, you've heard the motion. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, we have clerk's office, and we have the clerk up on our distinguished clerk up on the bridge. Give us some good reports.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Obviously, we're in the middle of a mayoral Eagle election runoff. We've got 20 precincts up and running. Everything went smoothly this morning for opening. So election day votes are happening right now. We're expecting around a 40 to 50% turnout of the 30,000 registered voters in the city of Eagle. That's a pretty high turnout, but there's a lot of interest in this election, it seems, between the two candidates. So hopefully by the end of the month or end of the day, we'll have everything buttoned up, closed polls at 8 o'clock, and we will be processing the results shortly after that as we're able to get the precinct ballots back into our warehouse here. So that's what's front and center on my mind. There's other things going on in the clerk's office, but they will not be attended to today as we're focused on this election. So
How many absentee ballots were returned, do you know?
we're at 77% of the roughly 1,900 absentee ballots that were sent out. So we've got quite a few back in already. We were prepping those yesterday to be counted today. So it's a light compared to a full-scale election, but a high turnout for this area. So
Right.
if early voting and absentee voting is any indication of the interest in this election, which I think it is, we'll have high turnout today for election day, given that we have pretty decent weather.
How many early votes?
We had about 2,500 early votes, which was 700 more than we had in the general election for the same area. And we voted 2 weeks of early voting in the general and only 1 week here. So quite a few people have shown up to vote early in this one. It all depends on what happens with, again, the political leaning. Some of those early votes could be people that didn't want to vote today that decided to vote early, but it could also mean more people voting overall. So
Yeah.
we'll just have to wait and see until the end of the day.
All right, anything else for us?
Nope, that's it.
All right, well, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Well, that's a lot of activity, isn't it? 2,500 early votes, 1,900 absentee, 77% of them returned so far. They can return them clear up till today, I guess.
Right.
Okay, moving on, we have the claims journal. I'll accept a motion on the claims journal.
I'll move to authorize payment of claims on the Claims Journal dated November 30th, 2023.
I second the motion.
Okay, you've heard the motion. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay?
Next up, we have some personnel actions.
I move to approve the personnel actions as listed on the agenda, that the summary sheet remain on file in the commissioner's office.
Second.
Okay, you've heard the motion. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, next up, we have the assessor's office. We don't have anybody here from the assessor's office. Is there anyone wish to speak or present anything? Nope. Well, we have with us our distinguished treasurer, Ms. Beth Mon.
Good morning, Mr.
Good
Chairman,
morning.
Commissioners. So the treasurer's office is in full steam, property tax collections. So just over 2 weeks until the due date, which is December 20th. I'll just note that I'm grateful for some of the staff support through other county offices and departments have been assisting our office. So that's really helpful so that we can efficiently serve our taxpayers. And it's also reducing our overtime expense. So appreciate that help. And that's our priority for the next few weeks.
They've been working the jogger.
Working the jogger, more so on Mondays. Monday's our biggest mail
the big
day.
jogger day?
Yeah,
Okay.
about 3,500 pieces went through that yesterday.
Oh, okay. Well, good. All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next up on the agenda is the approval of the minutes. I'll accept a motion on approval of the minutes.
I move to approve the minutes as identified on the agenda and authorize the chair to sign the documents on behalf of the board.
Second.
Okay, you've heard the motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next up, we have the 2 interim events at Expo Idaho. Any discussion or a motion?
I move to approve the two interim agreements as listed on the agenda and authorize the chair to sign the documents on behalf of the board.
I'll second that.
Okay. You've heard the motion. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, the next item on our agenda is 8 agreements. Any discussion or any issues with any of the agreements?
Well, we've got one for Greenbelt. Scott, do you want to talk about that?
Sure, Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Davidson, just, this has been a long time coming. It's phase 2 of an ARPA-related project downstream from Expo, Idaho. And just want to thank, really, anytime we do a Greenbelt project of this scale, thank the Ada County team involved. So Ada County Procurement, Operations, the PA's office, our ARPA grant team, and of course Parks and Waterways, our crew. Really excited to get this done, and obviously excited for the support that the commissioners continually give us when it comes to Greenbelt projects. I think you're aware that it's often listed as the #1 attraction when you visit the valley, not just the #1 recreational attraction, but the Greenbelt is the #1 attraction, full stop. So thank you for your investment in this, and it is phase 2. We did stream bank stabilization earlier this winter before spring flows. We're excited to kind of phase this in and get hopefully this project done in conjunction with some increased flows in the spring, potentially before and after those flows arrive. But all told, we're gonna break it up and try to minimize the inconvenience for Greenbelt users during this time. So really excited to get going. Sounds like we may have a closure to start as early as next week. So we're gonna be getting some messaging out immediately following this meeting to alert folks that we have a contract now.
Well, this has been a contract long time in coming.
It has been.
I mean, we first approved this, almost 2 years ago?
It's been a while.
For the ARPA.
Happy to finally get
Oh,
started.
yeah, it's nice to finally get it going. It's gonna be beneficial for the Greenbelt, because it's gonna be a concrete green, so it won't be as subject to erosion as in the past.
That is correct, Mr. Chairman. Ada County's first concrete greenbelt segment, so really excited for that as well. We're jumping into that pool finally, and yeah, it is susceptible to potential flooding in that location, so it's the right decision, and really excited just to get the ball rolling. We had a really competitive pre-bid meeting and competitive bid submittal. I think we had 5 total submittals, and we're excited to work with Stroth General to get this underway.
And you're saying this is the number, is this surpasses the river float in terms of attraction?
Mr. Chairman, it does in fact, yes. Yeah, it's always the top. The Greenbelt itself, many folks hear the 25 miles of Greenbelt. It's actually 42 miles total of Greenbelt.
There's a lot more points of entry than if the river float.
Correct, yeah, 6 miles of the river float, but about 42 miles of pathway, and
Right.
it's used year round, not just for
Sure.
seasonal use like floating. So yeah, we're very excited, and especially in this location, it's gonna be a really key connection to continue to have a safe, smooth pathway out there.
Well, great. Well, we're happy to help out.
Thank you.
All right. Any other discussion on any of the agreements?
Mr. Chairman, just to note that 3 of the agreements are the Faces of Hope Victim Center, which is important for the community, and these are the agreements that we have with our participating. The 3 today are Garden City, St. Luke's, and St. Al's, which are they're important parts of the project. So.
Right, they're a very important part. They are license agreements, and that allows them to use the facility. The county owns the facility and maintain it, and this is a license agreement to allow them to use it. And those are renewed every year, as all of our agreements are. Okay, good, thanks for that. Any other discussion? Okay, I'll accept a motion.
I'll move to approve the 8 agreements as listed on the agenda and authorize the chair to sign the appropriate documents on behalf of the board.
I second the motion.
Okay, you've heard the motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, next up is the weekly indigent items. I'll accept the motion on the weekly indigent items.
I move to accept the recommendations of the indigent services staff as listed on the summary of cases dated December 5th, 2023, and authorize the chair to sign the documents on behalf of the board.
I'll second that.
Okay, you've heard the motion. All in favor, say aye. Aye?
Right?
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, next up, we have a miscellaneous item. We have the Clearwater financial contract discussion. Who'd like to lead off on that?
Mr. Chair, happy to. You have in front of you the kind of closeout of the bill for the Clearwater assistance on the jail bond project. The contract you entered into them, into Clearwater with is a $75,000 contract. They have submitted bills that eclipse that number. And so it's up to you today to determine. Currently, there's $965.25 left available under that $75,000 contract. What's before you today is an additional bill for $5,425 from Clearwater and $10,068.75 from PSG, who's their kind of subcontractor partner in this deal. And so it is up to the board to determine how to proceed forward. Clearwater has offered to eat their $5,425 bill if you will pay PSG their $10,068.75 bill, which ultimately will take you to just about $9,000 over our $75,000 contract. So completely in your discretion.
Okay, is there a discussion?
Well, Mr. Chairman, I would suggest that we have, that they did a reasonably good job. I mean, obviously it failed, but they was very close. And I would suggest that I'm inclined to accept their offer of taking off the $5,000 and paying the contractor, because we did actually impose some other obligations on them. They had an obligation to come to us and request that in the contract, but we did go through a lot of machinations with them. So I'm inclined to accept the give staff instruction to give us an agreement to pay the $10,000.
Any other discussion?
Well, Mr. Chair, I think I probably feel a little less inclined than Commissioner Daly on that offer. I think $75,000 is a high amount for a campaign contract like this one. And the 75 was obviously largely for their time. That did not include postage and ancillary costs that the county also paid. So to me, the 75,000 is, if I had to do this all over again, I don't know if I would have even authorized that amount for this type of contract. I think that's a sufficient amount, and I think we should stick to the contract language. I think we should pay up to the $965 that's left and close this out.
Okay. Any other discussion? Or a motion?
Well, we don't have to have a motion, right? We just instruction to them to bring back the contract or the payment authorization. That's a question.
Yes, Mr. Chair, Commissioners, I think a motion would be preferable, so that I have clear direction of what to do. Ultimately, what I will do, either way today, is leave here and go touch base with Clearwater and tell them to submit an invoice for whatever the costs are, and then you will approve that in some form or fashion on an OVM. But
So this is just discussion then?
But here you have a discussion, but I just, if I could get unequivocal direction, I'll make sure to land the plane.
Mr. Chair, if I can jump in just on behalf of the sheriff, he sent me today and couldn't be here as he had another meeting to attend, but wanted to share that he shares Commissioner Daly's thoughts on this payment at this point. That he thinks they did an absolute fantastic job under the time constraints they were given, and that they, while we would have preferred they give us a little notice that they were going to go over, he understands that they did, and it's not an exorbitant amount that they went over.
Well, and they've offered to ameliorate that somewhat. Yeah. Okay. Um, So we don't have a final bill, is that what you're saying?
So you have a proposal in front of you, Mr. Chair, but no, they're waiting for direction from you all before they submit an invoice. But it will either be for the 965 or something different based on what you all tell me you would like them to do.
Okay.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I suppose we're only bound to the contract, and any amount after that, I suppose, is up to board's discretion, whether we allow all, zero, or a partial amount, so. I don't know if there's any area in the middle between myself and Commissioner Daley, but I guess that's always an option as well.
Okay. So that puts me in the middle.
Literally and figuratively.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I kind of agree with both my colleagues. I think we had a contract and it wasn't followed clearly, but I do think that we did give some signals that maybe we wanted some additional work to be done. So I think, I kind of agree that we had to pay part of that. And I think if Clearwater is wanting to waive their fee, I think it'd be fine. I think. So, anyway, is that clear enough?
I think I understand.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Any other discussion? Any other issues need to be brought before the board? Okay. We'll be adjourned. Thank you. Well, good morning. Today is the 5th day of December. The time is 9:26. The Board of Commissioners, sitting as a Board of Emergency Medical Services District, is in session to conduct its weekly open business meeting. All three commissioners are present. We also have with us
Elizabeth Duncan, communication.
and main IT guy. Okay. All right, Madam Clerk, are there any changes to the agenda?
Yes, there is.
Okay, I'll accept a motion.
I move to amend the agenda to add item 4.3B, agreement number 15.513 to the agenda.
Second.
We're adding 4, 3B.
4 to 3B, Roman numeral 4,
Uh-huh.
3B.
Okay. All right, you've heard the motion, all in favor, say aye.
I,
Aye. Motion carries. All right, first item on the agenda is the claims journal. I'll accept a motion on the claims journal.
I'll move to authorize payment of claims as listed in the Claims Journal dated December 5th, 2023 regarding EMS expenditures.
I second the motion.
Okay. You've heard the motion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I,
Motion carries. We have next the minutes for 11/21 and 11/28.
I move to approve the minutes as identified on the agenda and authorize the chair to sign the documents on behalf of the board.
second.
Okay, you've heard the motion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I,
Next up, we have two agreements. One was added. Any discussion on the agreements? Not, I'll accept the motion on the agreements.
I'll move to approve the 2 agreements as listed on the agenda and authorize the chair to sign the appropriate documents on behalf of the board.
I second the motion.
All right, you've heard the motion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I,
Motion carries. Next up, we have the EMS update. I call on Commissioner Davidson to give us an EMS update.
I'll pass it over to IT guy.
COVID's on the rise.
No.
It's not the right.
I should have passed.
He's going to report on the weather for his bike trip at home. That's an EMS update.
You missed it, that's our main IT guy. Okay. All right, anything else that we need to discuss, Madam Clerk?
No, sir.
Okay, hearing none, we're adjourned.